Could a single hasty assumption ruin a man's life in just a few seconds? Marcus Evans, a highly skilled and observant FBI agent, walked steadily down the bustling city street, the sun glinting off the glass windows of a high-end luxury car showroom, completely unaware that Officer Kevin Blake, a cop with a history of aggression and racial bias, had already spotted him and was convinced Marcus was the criminal reported for car theft. Without warning, Kevin lunged forward, slamming Marcus hard against a sleek, shiny black vehicle, his hands rough and searching, muttering insults and assumptions fueled purely by Marcus's skin color. The street erupted with murmurs and shocked gasps as bystanders froze, some too terrified to intervene, their eyes darting between Marcus and the enraged officer. Marcus stayed calm, silent, every muscle tense, but controlled, knowing that exposing his identity too early could compromise the operation and endanger not just himself, but the ongoing investigation. He felt the weight of Kevin's ignorance and arrogance, the officer blind to the quiet intelligence and discipline radiating from Marcus's every movement, as his fingers brushed the edge of the FBI badge tucked safely in his jacket pocket. Time seemed to slow, every heartbeat echoing like a drum in Marcus's chest, as he calculated the perfect moment to reveal the truth. Then, with a smooth, deliberate motion, he pulled the badge into view, flashing the emblem that instantly silenced Kevin and froze the crowd in stunned disbelief. Eyes widened, jaws dropped, as 12 federal agents emerged from strategic hiding spots around the street, disciplined, professional, and ready to enforce justice. Kevin, once full of bluster and prejudice, stood frozen, unable to comprehend that the man he had so quickly judged was the authority he had no right to question. The crowd exhaled collectively, witnessing a shocking display of courage, intelligence, and authority, a moment that proved the danger of assumptions and the strength of calm composure. Marcus's quiet confidence never wavered as he ensured the situation remained under control, teaching a powerful lesson: never underestimate someone based on skin color, appearance, or preconceived notions. Justice had prevailed, and respect replaced fear in every eye watching. Comment, respect, below if you admire Marcus's courage, and don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling, real-life inspired stories. Marcus Evans could feel the tension hanging thick in the air as Kevin Blake stood frozen, his face drained of color, the once bold arrogance replaced with disbelief and fear, while the FBI team silently surrounded the area, their disciplined presence commanding immediate attention. Marcus's eyes never wavered from Kevin, noting every micro-expression, every twitch, knowing full well how easily assumptions and prejudice could escalate into disaster if left unchecked. The onlookers had begun to murmur again, whispers of awe and shock mixing with the residual tension as Marcus straightened, his posture calm but radiating authority, and signaled subtly to his team. Kevin's voice cracked as he tried to explain himself, stammering over words that no longer carried weight, realizing that the man he had so recklessly targeted was far beyond his comprehension or judgment. Marcus's mind raced, analyzing the situation, deciding how much to reveal, how much to let Kevin feel the weight of his own ignorance without endangering the ongoing operation. The agents moved fluidly around the scene, forming a protective perimeter, their presence a silent warning to anyone considering interference. Bystanders began to pull out their phones, capturing the confrontation, but Marcus remained in control, aware that this moment would be remembered not for the attack, but for the power of calm intelligence against blind aggression. Kevin finally dropped his gaze, his arrogance shattered, as Marcus addressed him with steady, unwavering clarity, reminding him that judgment without knowledge only leads to humiliation and danger. The street, once a place of tension and potential violence, now held an eerie calm, the lesson clear to all who had witnessed it. Respect and observation outweigh assumption and prejudice. Marcus's composure remained unshaken, proving that strength is not in aggression, but in discipline, skill, and quiet confidence. Comment, respect, if you believe in justice, and subscribe to follow Marcus's incredible story as it unfolds further. Marcus Evans watched silently as Kevin Blake slowly sank into the chair at the curb, his chest heaving, his face pale, realizing fully that the tables had turned and his usual intimidation tactics had utterly failed. The surrounding pedestrians were frozen, unsure whether to step closer or remain hidden, captivated by the quiet authority that Marcus exuded, authority that required no shouting or threats to command respect. Every movement of Marcus was precise, deliberate, his eyes scanning for any hidden dangers while mentally deconstructing Kevin's earlier aggression, noting the dangerous combination of arrogance and prejudice that had almost escalated the encounter into disaster. The FBI team positioned themselves strategically, each agent a sentinel of discipline, ready to act instantly if Kevin's impulses shifted toward further recklessness, a stark reminder that Marcus was not alone and that the law backed every measured decision he made. Kevin's hands trembled slightly as he tried to regain composure, but Marcus knew that the lesson was sinking in. Prejudice, when unchecked, always exposes weakness. The murmurs of the crowd began to grow, some whispering disbelief at what had just occurred, others daring to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, emboldened by the visible display of accountability. Marcus finally spoke, his voice calm yet cutting through the tension like a blade, recounting each of Kevin's misjudgments, each aggressive move, not with malice, but with clarity and intelligence, turning the narrative back on the man who had believed fear and skin color granted him power. Every word Marcus spoke reinforced the importance of measured thought, observation, and respect for human dignity, and Kevin's pride crumbled further under the weight of undeniable truth. The agents kept their formation tight, eyes alert, reinforcing a boundary that could not be crossed without consequence. Pedestrians slowly began to record the moment, understanding instinctively that this was not just a confrontation, but a powerful lesson in justice, a story that would echo far beyond this street. Marcus's calm strength radiated outward, a beacon to those who had long been underestimated, showing that intelligence, preparation, and patience outweigh brute force and bias in every situation. Kevin's aggressive energy had been neutralized, and he sat defeated, no longer in control, as Marcus signaled subtly for the agents to relax their stance. The tension ebbing like the tide, leaving clarity and respect in its wake. As Marcus gathered his composure and prepared to exit the scene, the realization struck the crowd. Real power lies not in intimidation, but in control, skill, and unwavering integrity. Comment, honor, if you believe in courage under pressure, and subscribe to witness the rest of Marcus Evans' gripping story unfold. Marcus Evans took a deep breath as the adrenaline of the confrontation ebbed, knowing that the streets of this city had just witnessed something rare. A black man confronting unchecked authority with composure, intelligence, and undeniable proof of his role and power. Kevin Blake sat rigidly, still processing the humiliation of having been outmaneuvered by someone he had presumed weaker, someone whose skin color he had used to justify his aggression, and whose presence had shaken him to his core. Marcus's eyes scanned the crowd, noting the curious faces, the whispers of astonishment, the subtle nods of respect from those who had once been too afraid to speak up. The 10 federal agents maintained a disciplined perimeter, ensuring no one intervened recklessly, while subtly reinforcing the undeniable message: justice can and will be enforced with precision and without prejudice. Marcus approached Kevin slowly, each step measured, a mirror of calm authority that contrasted sharply with Kevin's trembling body and shallow breaths. He spoke clearly, outlining the legal and ethical violations committed, emphasizing the power of accountability and the consequences of allowing bias to cloud judgment. Kevin tried to interrupt, to assert dominance, but the weight of truth held him silent, the words of Marcus cutting through arrogance and exposing the fragility behind his aggression. The surrounding pedestrians began to take notice, some capturing the scene on their phones, others whispering to neighbors and friends, realizing they had witnessed an extraordinary lesson in human dignity and the responsibility that comes with power. Marcus turned his attention briefly to them, knowing that visibility mattered, that these moments could inspire change, that demonstrating courage and intelligence in the face of bigotry could ripple outward far beyond a single confrontation. The agents gradually eased their formation, a subtle acknowledgement that Marcus's calm strategy had neutralized any immediate threat. Yet they remained ready, a silent force that highlighted the professionalism and preparedness required to enforce law fairly and decisively. Kevin's gaze shifted to the ground, a mixture of shame, confusion, and grudging acknowledgement forming in his expression as Marcus detailed the importance of observation, patience, and respecting the humanity in every individual, regardless of appearance or assumption. Marcus's mind, sharp and strategic, catalogued the event for future reference, knowing that lessons learned today would strengthen not just his team, but the broader efforts to enforce justice without prejudice. He glanced at the agents, acknowledging their discipline with a nod, and then to the crowd, his expression calm yet resolute, silently teaching that courage, skill, and moral clarity are the true marks of strength. Kevin Blake was no longer the aggressor. He was now a man confronted with undeniable truth, and the city had witnessed how bias, when challenged intelligently and decisively, could be dismantled without chaos, proving that preparation, integrity, and unwavering confidence were far stronger than brute intimidation. As Marcus and his team walked away, the whispers of respect grew louder, some murmuring admiration, others reflecting on their own judgments, and a few silently promising to reconsider how they viewed and treated others. Today had been more than a confrontation. It had been a lesson in courage, accountability, and the transformative power of calm intelligence. Marcus knew the fight against prejudice was ongoing, but moments like this showed that change is possible, that patience, strategy, and moral fortitude could turn fear into respect and intimidation into enlightenment. Comment, respect. If you believe in standing firm against injustice, subscribe to follow Marcus Evans' journey, and remember, strength lies in patience, intelligence, and unwavering integrity.